Oh Mama, know the basics of Sanatana Dharma. Topic, Seekers of Truth in our tradition, that is Moksha Part 3, Episode 34 by Chandrasekhar J. Dear friends, today we will be discussing about the seekers of truth in our tradition. Quest for truth began in India ages ago. The seekers of knowledge were young people, men and women both. Like researchers of modern times, they searched for the truth to seek the answers to the question about the life after death, about the creation, about the God, about the self. Initially, they searched for truth externally, and then they turned inwards and realized the truth and found the purpose of the life as moksha. Their experiences are documented in Upanishads and scriptures. Their face to face with the truth are not sheer beliefs, dear friends. Their experiments with the truth, anybody can, they are the experiments with the truth. Anybody can verify it by treading on the path. This became the tradition. Journey is a must for an individual. Realization is a subject to experience, but that experience is common to everyone, dear friends. There is a beautiful episode in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that discussion between husband and wife, that is between sage Yajnavalkya and his wife Maitreyi. He wanted to go into the forest seeking the Brahman. He calls his two wives and divides the property between them. First wife accepts the property and second wife questions him. What makes you to leave this family life and property and to seek higher truth? I also wish to know about it. Being pleased with his wife's question, Yajnavalkya answers Maitreyi. Dear, it is not for the sake of husband, wife, son, wealth, that the husband is loud, or wife is loud, or son is loud, or wealth is loud. My dear, for the sake of the self, that everyone is loud. It is the self, my dear Maitreyi, that should be sought for, that should be heard, that should be pondered upon, that should be meditated on. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Then only you can seek the Atman. Indeed, by discerning the self, by hearing it, by pondering on it, by meditating on it, all is known. By knowing the self, everything is known. That's what sage Yajnavalkya says to his wife Maitreyi. If you like someone or something, it is for your own sake you do it. Love has no reasons. You like it because you like it. So who is that is liking within you? Who is that which is hating within you? So you have to find out that who. That is Atman, your true nature. Who am I? Find it out. So this was the wonderful episode. We can discuss that in length when we come to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, dear friends. Young boy Nachiketa comes face to face with lot of death and questions him what happens after death. Then he insists on knowing the self. The discussion is Kathopanishad. The Lord of Death says the self has to be realized through contemplation and introspection, not through discussion. Dear friends, we will discuss Upanishad in separate episodes. Young Bhrigu asks his father Varuna, who is God? What is Brahman? Father tells him that Brahman is the source of the creation from where everything evolved, in which everything is sustained, in which everything emerges. He asks his son to do tapas, the inner contemplation. The son goes and returns with his conclusions many times. Father asks him to go to seek, asks him to seek further. And finally, the son never returns. And son realizes that he is one with the source of creation. This is a part of Taittiriya Upanishad, dear friends. So the seeking has been a tradition in India, seeking the self, seeking the moksha. It is not just a blind belief. In other religions, it is mostly the commandments. But in India, it is seeking the truth. A fearless child, Satyakama Jebala, approaches a Guru Gautama for self-knowledge. The Guru sends him to tend 400 cows and asks him to return after it becomes 1,000 cows. In this process, he learns the truth from the nature and its beings. Finally, he arrives at the Gurukula. He realizes the truth, and yet he learns from the Guru the remaining knowledge. Satyakama becomes a celebrated sage. Chandogya Upanishad. Father asks a question to his son, Swetaketu, who returned from completing the studies. Dear child, have you learned that knowledge by knowing which everything is known? That is self-knowledge. Then father explains him, Tattvamasi, you are that Brahman, and asks him to seek it and realize it. Dear friends, if again I have to say, there are many incidences, many episodes in our literature about the seekers of the truth, dear friends. This gives an inspiration. This sets a path for the future seekers. Dear friends, Nachiketa, we have just discussed about. Satyakama Jebala, we have discussed about. Swetaketu, we have discussed about. Bhrigu, we have discussed about. Now, Gargi. Gargi is one woman, Brahmavadini. Brahmavadini means who is seeking Brahman. So she questions Yajnavalkya in the court and she asks him what is Brahman. And there is a wonderful debate between the two. In Maitreyi episode, we just discussed. And Queen Madalasa. Queen Madalasa, she sang lullaby of self-knowledge by putting her children in the cradle. And as soon as they become young, she sent them to forest to seek self-knowledge. The great mother, she was a queen, and she made her children to seek knowledge, renouncing the kingdom. That is the greatness of the Madalasa queen. Then you have Ribu Gita. Ribu Gita is the conversation between the teachings of, between the conversation about the self, between the guru and the disciple. The disciple is Nidaga, and guru is Sage Ribu. This is called Ribu Gita. Wonderful conversation, dramatic conversation also. King Janaka seeking from Ashtavakra Gita is called as Ashtavakra Gita. Lord Rama seeking from sage Vasishta, that is Vasishta Gita. When Lord Rama is depressed, sage Vishwamitra comes to Ayodhya and asks Dasharatha to send Rama with him. But Rama is in a totally renouncing mood. Then Vishwamitra asks Vasishta to explain about the self and everything. And Lord Rama questions Vasishta, and there is a beautiful conversation. It is also called as Yoga Vasishta. Dear friends, we all know about Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna seeking from Krishna. Ribu Gita, then Ashtavakra Gita, then Vasishta Gita, and then we have Bhagavad Gita. All these Gitas are the discussions between Guru and Sishya about the self-knowledge. We have Sukha approaching King Janaka, and Janaka tests Sukha in all ways for 3 days. And then he makes him go around, he finds whether his mind is stable or not, and then he teaches him the self-knowledge. Sukha teaching Bhagavatam to King Parikshit. After hearing the Bhagavatam, this is more important, Parikshit faces the death very boldly. And this is what is about the Sukha explaining about Bhagavatam. After hearing the Bhagavatam for 7 days, and Parikshit realizing the truth, Sage Kapila teaching the self-knowledge to his mother Devahuti. Sage Dattatreya teaching knowledge to Sage Parsurama. This is Tripura Rahasyam. Like this, dear friends, we have many episodes in our tradition who are all seeking the knowledge. Again, I repeat, it is not commandments unlike other religions. It is the question and answers. It is like seeking. After hearing the question and answers, one has to go for himself and experience the truth for himself. This is Sanatana Dharma, dear friends. Now, finally, above all, Shiva is called as Adi Guru because he has taught self-knowledge to sages like Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sanatana, and Sananda. So these four sages went to Shiva and learned the self knowledge, and Shiva taught them only through silence. So in silence, the self is revealed. So this is at a very high stage, very higher stage, dear friends, very advanced stage. So this is how the tradition of seeking is there in uh, Sanatana Dharma. Dear friends, in the next episode, we will learn about Jivan Mukta and few great bhaktas who are all realized souls, who are all liberated souls. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.